as thinkers and others who come off a lot more as
Yeah.
feelers.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially
Like
males.
you never like an ISTP-ish INFJ.
I think
Yeah, but
that
how do you refute the point that he made the system up and he's like, okay, I made this system and I'm this type?
did he make it up or did Myers-Briggs make it up?
No, you
Yeah, he made it up and Myers-Briggs was like, look at this thing he did.
How do I defend that point?
Intuitive.
How do I defeat that point?
Sorry, 3 people were talking at once. What was that?
He's most likely to be wrong about himself more than anybody else.
Yeah,
Just like you are about your own
ISFJ.
family members.
See, people usually, when they're not familiar with the system, they identify with their shadow types naturally. So, like a feeler might think, "Oh, I'm a thinker," because that's what they recognize in themselves. They don't realize that they're basing it off emotions. So they think that they're a thinker. Like, you'll notice that a lot. That they identify with
Do you think that a shadow person? What do you think a person's shadow type is? Like, say for an ENTP, what's their shadow type? Do you think?
ENTP would be ISF. Was it ISFJ?
Do you think that's their so like
ISFJ.
flipped, same value but flipped?
It's reverse. So INFJ would be ESTP.
Okay, so like they're dual. So in socionics, basically your shadow is your dual. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
No, I think he means ISFP.
Yeah, that's your first entrance into the shadow, isn't it? Because then you have
It's basically your subconscious, which I'm talking about, which is what.
yeah,
which
your
is basically-
dual. The dual it would be the anima, which
Yeah,
is
that's
the
what I was
entrance.
thinking. Your dual is your anima.
Yeah. So
What
then
in
you
the
move.
name
Then
of-
you move into your demonstrative type. Then you move into your demonic type. You can get that.
Oh, shit.
I would think my shadow is an ESTJ. That's my personal opinion. I think.
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
it's flipped, I think it's flipped horizontally, not vertically.
The more you delve into your shadow functions, the closer you become to merging the two together.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more you dive into the shadow functions and all the stuff that you thought was negative at first, you realize it's an okay to look at the world. Then like your whole psyche kind of like converges into that transcendent function that you talked about.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the conscious unconscious functions and what that actually means, as I see it. I think
I would categorize them as valued and unvalued. I think ultimately we can all understand all the functions.
But I want to explain what valued and unvalued means. What valued and unvalued means is we are keeping. There's a number of moves in a game. Okay, some moves are bouncing, some moves are sliding, some moves are whatever. Right? So like moves like that. We're playing in a game that counts points when 4 of those moves are done. And the other 4 moves that occur are things that you build your point scoring moves with the 4 that count off of. So for an ENTP, for example, they might score points by sliding off a bank shot or something, or sliding off a bank. Beating a bank is also a function, and in some games that counts a lot. In this game, it's just part of the background. Shit bounces off of it. It doesn't count in terms of scores. However, so in order to actually value the unvalued functions meaningfully, what we end up having to do is be able to not understand how to use those 4 things that are apparently part of the background within that game. They don't work in that game. They're part of they're the hoop. You shoot the ball through the hoop to get the points. The hoop doesn't get you any points. But in another game, putting the hoop up properly gets you big points. And so you don't learn to score points on your own field by putting up the hoop properly. You learn to start playing on the other field. And so that's what it means to recognize how to value an unvalued function. It means to be able to frame the experience through the perspective of somebody for whom that's not part of the background off of which point scoring occurs, but rather the move itself.
And can I cut in really quick? JC, you
I'm
want to
done.
make sure that you're recording.
Yeah, I'm recording. I'm done.
You're not. Oh, you're not recording.
No, I am recording, but I was done. You didn't cut me off. I'm just what I'm saying is I was done speaking.
So look,
Okay.
I think that the shadow type, like for an ENTP, which would be an ISFJ, it's like the backbone of your personality, because for your NE depends on your SI, right? I mean,
I don't think that's the shadow type though. I think it's ISFP. That's what normally people
You
mean.
think the shadow is the conflictor?
I think it's the opposite of everything.
It's like totally just flipped.
Yeah, but that's
vertically.
that's only if you have
Well, let's define our terms. What do you guys mean by a shadow guy?
I mean, it's fine if someone
This is
uses
like
Google.
Jungian psychology type stuff.
Okay,
That's
guys,
what I was talking
I
about.
can't Google shit when we're recording.
According
I got
to
it.
you, according to you, the shadow is anything that you don't accept in your conscious personality.
it's everything that you suppress through thinking.
Well,
and
then
lack
in that
of
case,
feeling.
it's ISFP. In that case, it's ISFP. It's not ISFJ. Okay.
Yeah.
So Katie's my shadow.
Yeah. Right.
Well, she's not the backbone of me. Fuck that. No offense.
No, the
Well, I
dual,
wouldn't say the shadow's
the backbone.
Your backbone's ISFJ.
Right. The backbone. I agree with that. The backbone, the ISFJ. I agree with that part. That's not the shadow. That's what I'm saying. That's the backbone part.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're just in semantics. I don't know. I mean, I'm just talking about from Jungian.
Right,
The backbone is your subconscious.
What
But
are
see,
you talking
ISFJ shares the same four valued functions. ISFJ and ENTP have the same four valued function. NE, TI, FE, and SI, just in a different order. So if, in fact, what you're saying, this last thing you said is right, then the previous thing you said can't possibly be right, or vice versa.
Okay.
Um,
So that's
person-
not warriors for truth, and they're like dictators.
We're just having different definitions of the word shadow. That's
Well,
something.
a person who's talking, it doesn't have your name, by the way, so I can't address you properly. But the one problem I have with your opinion that, for example, an ENTP shadows the ISFJ is that I would say that the ISFJ is the ENTP's anima. It's just like it's because in like socionics, the ISFJ is like the ENTP's like soulmate, like the person who they need to like get with to like hang out and stuff to dualize, and so it can't be both the anima and the shadow, which is why I would choose the anima over.
Hey, good job saying you're right. That's hey.
Hey,
Good
Patrick
job.
and I, we always get along.
Good job.
We always get along.
No, I love it when people
The ego
acknowledge.
would be like the creator god. The ego, your conscious type would be like the creator god, the demiurge, and Satan would be the shadow.
I'm sorry. I love they're using those like archetypes for that. I don't have any other comment. I just like it.
It's a very hot day out here in the sun, but here I'm gonna stay.
And then Lucifer,
Because
Lucifer's
if I
the
go
light.
there into the shade, Satan
Lucifer's the
is my
light.
shadow. Listen, when you have Satan as your shadow, you're always going through life knowing that someone's watching over you. Don't worry, it'll be okay. My shadow Satan is here with us.
Yeah, that's the fourth end of your personality.
Really? Satan is the fourth end? Satan, sorry, it's the last room we got
Yeah, the
left.
same.
Fourth end.
Because religion, psychology, and all it's really similar.
Satan,
This
look,
is
I'm
why
sorry. I got the Archangel Michael in room 1. I got Steve from the 7-Eleven in room 2. And my dog had dibs on room 3, so you got to go to room 4. That's why Satan's down there at the end. I would say he used to be further up the line. I'm much less satanic than I used to be. I'm much more attentive to...
Well, so if God is consciousness, God's consciousness, and He's the one who created everything, and Satan was the one who did it against Him, then he would be the demonic function to the hero function.
Was Satan even in the whole like create everything part? I thought he wasn't even a part of that. I thought he came after.
That's duality. If you buy into duality, then you're going to have the opposing forces inside of you. You're going to oppose yourself within yourself. yourself. Dark and light.
I think there's a certain element of truth to that gobbledygook, which is, namely, that I note that there are conflicting values within myself too, right? So, on the one hand, I want to rush home and get a bunch of shit done. On the other hand, I know I need to sleep well tonight. So I have this instinct to go through some sort of wind down ritual or protocol using SI to try to get me sort of in chill mode again. Because like I don't want to be all super added up. You know, my attitude towards that shit is changing, and I'd like to kind of go more a couple days and then off for a week or off for 4 or 5 days or something. I don't know, because it's like I've come to value SI, and I understand also that both those values are positive, but only one of them is satanic. If I do a bunch of Adderall for a month on end and produce shitloads of media, that's a positive thing. That's all good. And if I'm taking care of myself, managing the SI, and producing less media, but feeling more whole and all that certain stuff that people talk about, then that's good too. Only one of them is satanic.
Wait, say that again. Only one of them is what?
Satanic.
Oh.
But it depends
Well,
on how you're looking at it. If you're really looking at it in like a dualistic sense, then what you're prescribing to the whole satanic thing, it would have something to offer unless you're prescribing the satanic as purely negative.
No, I'm saying they're both good, except one of them is satanic. So my
One's
point
dark,
is,
one's
Why
light.
are we even talking about the satanic thing? What is this satanic?
well, because satanic.
We're using
Okay, I actually mean something when I use it.
Gnostic terms to.
I'll just
Gnostic. I'm also taking it from that John Beebe dude. He named the eighth function demonic.
Yeah, wasn't he the one that did stuff with like the animus as like the anchor and stuff like that?
Yeah, like,
this is the
I
fourth
think-
function.
Yeah, his John Beebe's hierarchy was hero, good parent, child, animus, opposing, bad parent, trickster, and demon.
Yeah.
All right.
The INFJ who hates me has been stating very seriously to people, a few people for some time, that I am Satan. So,
Well,
That might not
well,
be related to the satanic function, but that's an interesting point.
I want to explain exactly why I embrace that word in this context to use as most descriptive word, because I see the word satanic as meaning prioritizing self-will over fulfillment of self-will as expressed through your most comfortable function combination. So for me, Satanism is what I did on the phone right there, right? I had this was not the first time I've talked to these parents. All right, this thing is I did not start there, right? You ask me the same question over and over again, and I give you a general rule, which then you fail to apply to things like I want you to. Like if I say, no, those kind of questions that you're asking right there. You see, you want to know whether Natalie should come to class based on your knowledge of what's going to happen in class. Those kind of questions in general are bad because if you are making decisions on what you know, then you're making bad decisions because you don't know as well as I do, right? So that's my central thesis in this thing. It should stop all questions that have to do with what's going on in class. Well, are you going to be doing LD in class? That's a question in class. Well, are you going to be, is Connie going to be there? That's a question about what's going on in class. You know, it's like, that drives me insane, right? If you do that long enough, you deserve to get yelled at. I don't know what to tell you. But there are other cognitive functions that would approach that in a less satanic way, right? I could
I'm
have
just hung up.
I could have just placated her, given her some answer, and it had been wrong, and then have her just complain about it, then just give her some other random answer. Could have done that. You know, that would have been kind of fun. Oh, yeah. She's gonna be there. Also, this really good new person named Bob's gonna be there. And then no Bob, right? What about Bob? Oh, gosh, I don't know.
This is your voice for.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
Nobody.
Where babies burn and flowers bloom. Everyone dreams I can dream too. Up there, up.
South
I-
It's
Park.
Satan from.
Is it South Park?
Yeah, it's South Park.
Yeah, that's Satan.
Oh, that's
I thought, it was
Satan, right?
I thought it was Adam Sandler at first.
Yeah, okay, Satan. Yeah. Well, that's not my vision of Satan. My vision of Satan is just, well, look, I mean, I get it, but I wanna. So
Don't you think the biblical story of creation kind of mirrors the creation of your own ego perspective on the world?
It was light. Ti.
well, let me think about it.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
wait.
Exactly.
First, there was like that.
Biblical story-
Okay.
There's no. Just
What? I did become full
Here's
grown
a-
in 7
I got-
days.
I didn't
See,
explain nothing.
I like how you say there was light TI. For me, it's more like things were just kind of flown along magically. People were getting along, and then distinction came along. Like TI and stuff
Yeah,
like
like
that.
this-
It's like, and
Because nothing and everything are the same thing.
then,
You know.
Yes and no to everything.
I agree with that and disagree with that simultaneously.
Okay. What is this episode about? Thanks for watching Talking with People.
Moving away from.
I forgot to ask Jack about his
I'm not
channel.
finished.
This is too chaotic. Stop.
I would